day all.
It's been long talked about, but the end still came as a surprise. A hurried last-minute press conference, 40 minutes warning to announce the end of Daniel Andrews' 9-year reign as Victoria's longest-serving Labor Premier.
There's an old saying in politics, go when they're asking you to stay. It's really important. It's really important.
He made the call just days after announcing his ambitious plan to overhaul the state's planning rules and to demolish 44 public housing towers. No one knew what was playing on the Premier's mind.
When thoughts of what's next and what if I wasn't, when they start to creep in, as I said, you owe it to the people that you love, who give a lot, and you most certainly owe it to the people you serve to say, it's time.
It's really something that you keep very close to yourself, and I know he did that, but once you are looking forward to what happens after politics, that's the time you've got to go.
Daniel Andrews spoke to the Prime Minister this morning about his decision. Anthony Albanese was full of praise for Mr Andrews.
He is a builder. He has built enormous infrastructure benefits for Victoria. He's rebuilt a health system, passion of his from his time as Health Minister and indeed during the pandemic as well.
Victoria's gone from the can-do state to the can't-do state, and we've seen that very much this year. And in that time, we've gone from the most financially secure state to the most financially insecure state. And we're going to have to live with that change for some time ahead.
Mr Andrews joined the socialist left faction of the Labor Party in 1993. He was elected to Parliament when Steve Bracks became Premier in 2002. In 2010, at 38, he became opposition leader and, in 2014, Premier of Victoria.
The people of Victoria have today given to us the greatest of gifts.
He's been an outstanding Premier, really, and when you think that he won against all odds in 2014, after just one term of a Liberal government, that was unheard of, really, in Victoria's history, to win...
Thank you very much.
As an unknown, effectively, and then to go on for record majorities in the next two elections.
One of his first acts as Victorian Premier was to rip up the contract for the East-West Link road project, costing the state $1 billion.
There's always going to be issues when you change priorities, and the government did change priorities. Didn't pursue the East-West Link, and that was known and voted on in 2014. And I think that was sensible and reasonable.
The Andrews government has also received criticism for a series of scandals, including branch stacking, misuse of public money and misconduct, as probed by the state's Anti-Corruption Commission.
I think there are lots of episodes which have been challenging around transparency and integrity, the red shirts and the various reports that have come out which have basically been swept aside. I think there are serious reputational issues that have emerged in this state. We're going to have to recover those.
The COVID pandemic defined Daniel Andrews' time in office. Victoria endured one of the world's longest lockdowns, but today it barely rated a mention.
I've never complained about the fact that we had to deal with fire and flood and a 1 in 100 year pandemic. That's the job. The job is dealing with all comers and all issues.
The damage done to the states, to the economy, to the nation was such that it demanded a royal commission.
After almost a decade in the job, Mr Andrews said his proudest moment as Premier was one away from the press pack, riding a train along an unfinished rail line, built as part of Victoria's big infrastructure build, which has been marred by cost blowouts.
Best experiences? None of you were there. It happened Thursday afternoon when I got on the test train at Metro Tunnel.
Mr Andrews said one of his toughest times as Premier came when 4 police officers were killed after a traffic stop in 2020.
Among the very worst moments in this job was speaking to the families of the 4 officers who died.
One of his final acts as Victorian Premier was to pull out of the Commonwealth Games, sparking international criticism. It's a decision that will cost the state $380 million, at a time when the state has the highest level of debt in the country.
We have lost our competitive advantage about tourism major events. The cancellation of the Commonwealth Games has obviously changed our reputation. That's going to last for some time. It's going to be an enormous turnaround from here.
He's kept a great sense of momentum. You know, building infrastructure for the future with a growing population in Victoria, having significant social policy reforms, as we've seen, for example, voluntary assisted dying and many others. This has been a government with a great forward momentum, a very progressive government, and a government that's set Victoria up very well.
The question is who will replace Mr Andrews. That'll be decided by the Labor caucus tomorrow. The Premier will cast a vote if there's more than one contender. The likely frontrunner to become the 49th Premier of Victoria is Deputy Premier and former Minister for the Commonwealth Games, Jacinta Allen.
Well, she's also been Minister for Transport Projects, some of which have gone seriously wrong, seriously over budget, and were poorly designed in the first place.
Obviously, the Deputy Premier, Jacinta Allen, is a very, very strong contender, but there could be others. I understand that there will be a party meeting tomorrow at 12 noon, so we won't have to wait long to find out.
Thank you all very much.